I figured the most relevant maybe talk for the emergency ultrasound session is medical legal issues in OB. And I hate doing malpractice work. I really try to avoid it at all costs. If I do it, I only do it for the defense, and I donate all the money to my favorite charity. But having said that, you know, there are some mistakes that we can learn from this, and so I share these with people. I love this quote. Remember Descartes' cognito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. I love this one, fallo ergo sum. I fail, therefore I am, or I am, therefore I err. To exist is to make mistakes. And, you know, we can't practice medicine without making mistakes. So we'll divide the talk up into a brief summary of legal issues, and then it's almost all going to be case presentations right there. We all know the statistics. We get sued a lot just because we read a lot of cases right there. 50% of surveyed radiologists have been sued at least once. One of the interesting statistics from this paper is that even though half of us are going to be sued, only a small percentage of those are going to have a judgment. Most of the time you're going to be acquitted. But having said that, there's some really frightening statistics about the stress of being sued and divorces and all that kind of stuff. So you really want to avoid this as much as possible. Remember that we deal in information, and no matter how smart we are, if we don't communicate the information in a timely fashion, we haven't helped somebody. So if you read an OB ultrasound and say there's no fluid, and then put the report in the mail and it shows up 3 weeks later, you haven't helped the kid. So just call. And in the words of Lincoln Berlin, who writes those wonderful med-mal assessments every month in the Yellow Journal, in the eyes of the law, if you didn't document it, you didn't do it. So if you take the time to call somebody, protect yourself by putting it in the report saying, hey, I talked to Susie Smith at 5 o'clock. This was just some work that Roger did for our book about changing patterns of ultrasound litigation. But this is one point I wanted to make here, and it's just the nature of the beast. We can't do anything about it. But out of all the ultrasound modalities, including breast, GYN, pelvic, MSK, the number of times you're going to get sued is much, much higher in OB. Look at this study, 360 out of 480 ultrasound-related suits were obstetrics. So that's just part of the beast. What are the causes? Failure to diagnose a fetal anomaly, a missed neural tube defect. We're going to focus a lot on maybe not so much the baby, but the other things. So you miss a previa, you don't report that. Bad reporting, late reporting. And then something that's unique to prenatal diagnosis, whether it's genetic testing or prenatal ultrasound, is the concept of wrongful life and wrongful death. They're the same thing, but in one of them you get sued by the baby, and in the other one you get sued by the parents there. There was a lot of legal debate about these concepts. But my alma mater, you know, here's a quote saying, it's, as odd as it may sound, in certain circumstances, life should be a compensable injury. And here's the obligatory web-based quote saying, they're suing their obstetrician for $10 million and are quoted as saying, we love our son now that he's here, but if we had known what was going on, we would have done something different. So again, that's just part and parcel of doing prenatal ultrasound. So now let's start